Yo, 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 what is up? Monday with Molly. No, anyway. Oh, you gotta laugh at yourself. All right, so today's topic is if you can't, then you must. If you can't, then you must. I love this one. This one has been such a a huge flip your 20 concept for me. Like totally growth mindset, flipping my 20 like crazy with this. So let me give you a couple of examples here. So if I've been to your school or conference, or you've heard my message there, or if you know my story, or if you've read my book, right? My book, Creating the Champion Within, everything's in here. This book, I feel like darn near killed me in terms of stress, but of course, it's also been my biggest gift. So let me explain how this ties into if you can't, then you must. So if you know my story, you know it was a lot of trauma, a lot of terrible things that I grew up with. Again, it's in one of the other videos. Or you can also go to my website, mollykennedyspeaks.com, to get a quick snippet if you're not familiar with my story. So a lot of trauma, a lot of crazy things happening. And I didn't tell anyone for like 20 years. I just stuffed it all deep down. I didn't want anyone to know. It was embarrassing, shameful. I thought I was the only one. If you go back to one of our older videos on stuff and connecting the dots, you'll realize you're not alone. You're never alone with anything you're going through. But at the time, I thought I was, so I didn't tell anyone. And one of my biggest flip your 20 moments was that I went to counseling. And I remember the first day in counseling, I just almost vomited everything up, all of my stuff, all my secrets, all the trauma. And I also remember thinking, after I got it all out, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, thank God I will never have to say that out loud again. And now I make my living sharing my stuff. All the stuff I share, there's I'm never saying that again. It's how I make my living. More importantly, it's how I'm able to make an impact. I have a purpose on this earth, is to share my stuff and to share my story so you and everyone who hears it knows they're not alone, knows that there's hope, knows that anything is possible, knows that they're in control when they take care of their mindset. And when there's hope, there's life. So that's a big reason why I've shared my stuff. So where this lesson of if you can't, then you must comes in is when I was leaving that first day in the counseling office, which is let's see, what year is this? It was probably about 10 and a half years into counseling. And now I only go once or twice a year, but in the beginning I barely could go week to week. But before I left that first day, my counselor said, "You won't be teaching forever." Because I was a full-time teacher at the time. She goes, "You won't be teaching forever. You're going to be sharing your story." Now, here's the thing. Deep down, I knew I probably would, but I had, again, this is the first time I'm sharing any of my stuff with her, so it was not even it was not in the real realm of possibility. It was way, maybe, hopefully someday. And I knew it was probably what was going to happen, but I was nowhere near being able to do it. But she kind of caught on right away. And so as I'm going through counseling and doing the work, I'm starting to realize, oh my gosh, sharing my story is the thing. That if I want to become a speaker, which it had been in my mind for a while, because I knew my story would be helpful, again, hadn't done any of the work. But I remember thinking, my gosh, I can't share my story from stage. Even as I had been doing the work in healing, I was like, I can't, oh my God, how am I going to do that? I'm going to tell people that I was abused and molested and my deepest, darkest secrets that nobody knew about. I can't do that. If you can't, then you must. Okay, let me figure out how I'm going to do it then. If that's the way, then I must figure it out. And now we're years past, and this is what I do. I travel across the U.S. and Canada, working with students and educators and parents. And it's all in my book. I mean, dear Lord, putting it into print so it's available for anyone, I can't do that. Oh my gosh, I can't do that. So everyone will know, not just like the school that I go speak at, but everyone, people from all areas of my life who don't know my stuff. I can't do that. If you can't, then you must. And writing that book was one of the biggest things to just lift all of the secrets, all of the armor off. It changed everything for me. It wasn't easy, but I needed it. I'll give you another example. And I hope as I'm sharing examples, you're thinking in your life like what you can relate to of where you say, I can't do that, or that'd be too hard or too uncomfortable. If you can't, then you must. So make sure you're thinking of your examples too. I'll give you one more example. I was being coached by someone in the speaking business, and he said, okay, so tell me about your referral process. You go to a school, it goes well, how do you ask for referrals? Which is a very important thing. And I said, oh, I don't. And he goes, oh, what, have you bombed, or are they bad? I said, no, like everyone's happy. It's really going really well. Feedback from the kids, teachers is great. He goes, oh. He goes, well, why wouldn't you ask for referrals? And it like hit me like that. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, because asking for referrals is like asking for help. And I don't do that. And then in an instant, I said, okay, if I can't or don't, then I must. So I'm like, well, it's time to learn how to ask for referrals. It's time to learn to ask for help. Because for most of my life, because I kept all my trauma and stuff down, I didn't trust anyone. I didn't let anyone in. It was me against the world. Like, forget a chip on your shoulder. I had like the whole forest on my shoulder. So because of all that, right, we talked about connecting the dots earlier in another video. Connecting my dots was, I'm not asking for help. I don't need help. Well, in this case, I most certainly did. So if I can't ask for help, then I must ask for help. If this is making sense to you, put in the comments like a thumbs up, or put in a comment that you understand what we're talking about here. And also, before we wrap up too, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Look, you're on YouTube. That's what you know you're going to be asked to do it. So subscribe also, so you make sure you're getting this lesson every Monday, and we're spending time together so you can take it and apply it and take action in your life. All right, so comment below, where is a time in your life where maybe you've already done this? You said, man, I can't do it. And then you just got so frustrated, so fed up that you're like, I'm going to do it. I must. Maybe you didn't put it in that language, but it doesn't matter. You did the thing. Or if this is clicking for you and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally see where I'm holding myself back. Here's where, Molly, put in the comments, here's where I've been saying I can't, but here's where I must. Because you never know also, not only are you helping yourself, and I love the feedback, I love supporting and cheering you on, you never know what your comment, how that might spur someone else into taking action for them. So anytime you think I can't, then I must. Look, I didn't know how to swim. I want to become an Ironman. Well, I can't. Then you must. I've said for years, I'm not really great at connecting with people because I would always isolate myself, be by myself. I'm not good at connecting or building relationships. And I said, well, a few years back, I said, if you can't, then you must. And I have just busted my tail and made myself super uncomfortable to put myself out there, kind of like I'm doing here too, to build relationships, whether it's virtual, in person. If you can't, then you must is a game changer. So let me know, post below how you're going to use this. Make sure you subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Again, if you're a subscriber, send me your question, something you need advice on, you're stuck on, you need help with. I'll be honest with you. I'll be straightforward with you. You can DM me on Instagram at flipyour20_ or email me at info@mollykennedyspeaks.com. All subscribers get their questions put into a pot, and then I'll pick a couple every Friday and answer those. So I hope I get to answer your questions soon. All right, thanks for joining me today on Monday with Molly. If you can't, then you must. Flip your 20 now. Peace.